Let's just start with this one idea. AI systems are not static tools. They are living systems that accumulate authority, risk, and obligation. I mean, think about that for a second. It completely changes how we should be looking at AI, right? These aren't just pieces of software you install and forget. They're almost like living things inside an organization. They evolve, they gain power, they take on a life of their own. So that's what this is all about. Governing AI from the spark of an idea all the way to execution. We're going to do a full lifecycle walkthrough, specifically for these highly regulated systems. We're going to follow the entire journey of one AI system, from its birth as a simple idea right through to its retirement. And by doing that, we'll figure out how to manage these incredibly powerful tools safely, every step of the way. All right, let's dive in. All right, our first chapter, From Insight to Influence. We're going to look at the quiet growth of an AI system's authority. Because here's the thing, these systems don't just show up with all this power. It starts really, really small, almost silently. It begins with just a little insight, a simple question, that slowly starts to gain traction. Okay, so here we are, stage one, the idea. Picture this. Someone in your organization has a question they want to answer. So they start a little informal project. Right now, the system is just looking at data. It's read-only. It can't change a thing. All it does is spit out some info. There's basically zero authority here. And the risk? It's practically non-existent. It's just a tiny idea taking its first baby steps. And then, of course, stage two happens. That little experiment, it turns out to be pretty useful. So useful that it gets built into a proper dashboard that a bunch of people start looking at every day. Now, the risk is still super low, but, and this is a big but, something has fundamentally changed. People are starting to depend on what it says. And when that happens, suddenly the quality of that data becomes a whole lot more important. Which leads us to this really critical moment, the point where this system gains what we call authority. And look, this isn't some formal ceremony where it gets a new title. It's way more subtle. It's that quiet moment when people stop just looking at the data and start trusting it. They start deferring to its recommendations. All of a sudden, its outputs aren't just FYI anymore. Nope, they're actively shaping what people decide to do, and that is a massive shift. So, next up, crossing the operational line. This is a huge deal, because once a system has influence, well, the next step is letting it take action on its own. And that, my friends, is when we cross a very, very important line. The stakes are about to get a whole lot higher. Okay, so how do we manage all that new risk? Well, you need a blueprint, a formal plan, and this is it. This is the IT/OT control plane. I know it looks a little complicated at first glance, but it's our master plan for any AI that's going to touch either IT, our digital systems, or, and this is the really critical one, OT, or operational technology, the stuff that controls things in the real world. This whole framework is designed to give us clear boundaries, solid approval gates, and a perfect audit trail so we know exactly what's happening at all times. So let's break that big diagram down. It really comes down to just three parts, three planes. First, you've got the control plane. Think of this as the brain. It's where the rules live or the approvals happen. Then you have the execution plane. These are the hands. This is where the AI actually does the work, interacting with all the other systems. And finally, you have the evidence plane. This is the system's memory. It's the permanent, unchangeable record of every single thing that happened. Brains, hands, and memory. Simple, right? Okay, so now we get to stage 4. And I want you to really pay attention here, because this is the point of no return. The system is no longer just whispering suggestions in people's ears. Now it's actually creating official records. Think support tickets, system logs, you name it. And the second it does that, everything changes. All those formal controls we talked about, audit trails, approval gates, having a way to roll things back, they're not nice to haves anymore. They are 100% mandatory. And as the system keeps growing up, moving through these later stages, it gets tangled deeper and deeper into the business. And what you're seeing on this chart is what we call the blast radius. It's just expanding like crazy. I mean, think about it. If something goes wrong back in stage 2, it's annoying, right? An inconvenience. But a failure way out here in stage 7, where the AI is touching physical equipment, that's not an inconvenience. That could be an absolute catastrophe. The potential for damage just gets bigger and bigger. So how on earth do you manage something with a blast radius that big? The answer isn't to hit the brakes on innovation. Not at all. The answer is simple: the discipline of control. We need continuous governance to prevent those silent failures. We have to build a control system that is every bit as powerful and sophisticated as the AI it's watching over. And that discipline starts right here with continuous monitoring. This is non-negotiable. And it's not something you can just tack on at the end like an accessory. It has to be baked in from the very beginning. The best way to think about it is like a heart monitor for your AI system. It's watching its vital signs 24/7, looking for any strange behavior, any drift, and the second it sees an anomaly, it sounds the alarm long before it can turn into a real disaster. But look, things will go wrong. An incident will happen eventually. And when it does, you can't be making things up on the fly. You need a rock-solid, practiced protocol. It goes like this. 1. You halt the system immediately. 2. You preserve everything. Don't touch the evidence. 3. You dig in and find out what really happened, the root cause. And 4. You put fixes in place to make damn sure it can never happen again. Now, everything we just talked about, that's reactive. That's what you do after the fire has started. The proactive part of discipline is this: change and revalidation. Remember how we said these are living systems? Well, that means they're always changing. The data changes, the models get updated, people find new ways to use it. This process is all about constantly asking, okay, what's the impact of that change? It's how you stop that risk from creeping up on you silently. And just like every story has a beginning, it also has an end. The final step, retirement. You can't just turn it off and walk away. A system has to be decommissioned with the same discipline you used to build it. First, its authority has to be formally stripped away from every process. Second, all access gets revoked, no exceptions. And third, all that evidence, its entire life story, gets archived securely. You have to close the book properly. Okay, we've gone from birth to retirement, so let's wrap up by being crystal clear on what this all means. Let's talk about the purpose of this framework, and just as importantly, its limitations. Let's be super direct here. What we just did in this walkthrough was give you a way to think about these systems, a mental model that ties together all these big ideas like life cycle, authority, and risk. It's a way to organize your thoughts. Now, here's what it is not. This is not a technical blueprint telling you exactly how to build something, and it is absolutely not an approval for any specific AI system. Think of it as a map to help you navigate the territory, not the car that's going to get you there. And really, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this quote, because it's the whole ballgame. Success with AI, especially in these high-stakes, regulated worlds, it's not really about having the cleverest algorithm. It's not about who has the most data. It's about discipline. It's about the boring, rigorous, essential work of governing these systems with care from the first day to the last. So I'll just leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Take a hard look at the AI systems you're working with, or the ones you see being built, and ask yourself this question. Is it just being built for intelligence? Or is it also being built for discipline?